was around 93, and one of my best friends, sportscaster Bruce Beck from NBC, called me up one day. He said, "Hey, Commish, I just got a gig with Jim Brown, and I'm going to be heading out to Colorado doing something called No Holds Barred Fighting. It's their first big event. Why don't you watch it?" And I said, "What is this No Holds Barred?" He said, "Just watch it." And I called Bruce right after the fight was over. And I said, "You did a great job. I mean, what was I watching? This thing was like a street fight without the beer bottle." And he said, "Well, you better get ready because it's coming to New York." And my exact words to Bruce were, "Like hell it is." I said, "If they want me to sanction this, it's just not going to happen." It was maybe a 180-pound guy against a 250-pound guy, and they rolled around and they were swinging with elbows. And this old boxing guy is not used to elbows being thrown and guys on the ground and guys hitting him with elbows, and then the very dangerous 12-6 elbow, and a guy would be laying on the canvas, and a guy would kick him in the head like a soccer-style kick. And I had to go before the legislature because the governor then in New York, Governor Mario Cuomo, asked me what I thought of it. And I said, "Boss, this is just not going to happen." He said, "Then I'm going to need you to go before the legislature and in your best ever convincing attitude, tell them that this can't happen because they want this to happen here." And basically what I told him is stuff that I saw in that fight. I said, "You didn't see either of these fights where blood is pouring from guys' heads and noses are broken and jaws are broken, eyes are split open with moves that I've only seen basically in street fights." I said, "If you pass this, if you sanction this, there's going to be blood in New York and it's going to be on your hands, not mine." Unanimously, they turned it down. Commissioner Larry Hazzard in Jersey brought in a whole new set of rules. And when the rules were brought in, New Jersey adopted it, and a bunch of the other states adopted it. Finally, Mark Ratner, one of the best boxing commissioners ever, then left the Nevada State Athletic Commission to go to work for the UFC. He went around, and as Vice President of Regulatory Affairs, he went to the states that didn't accept MMA. He convinced them that they should have MMA, that it certainly is not this street fight without the beer bottle that they've been told. And one by one, they passed it. And all of a sudden, every state had passed it with the exception of New York. And on Saturday night, November 12th, maybe the biggest sports event outside of Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, March 8th, 1971, the biggest sports event I've ever seen in New York. Everybody is talking about this. The city is going to come to a complete standstill on that night. It has been a long time coming, and I, as the guy who banned it, couldn't be happier. When I first started the Fight Club on SiriusXM Radio, I made it quite clear that, listen, your host here is the guy who banned it in New York. Every UFC fighter we ever had on that I told about that, they said, "You know what? We respect you for doing that because you helped make this a better sport. You took a lot of the real dangerous element of the game away by banning it in New York and making us think about it." Everybody, 100% of the people who I ever interviewed about it all thanked me for banning it back then and continually pushing for the new UFC to bring in the rules. I never have regretted that. Sometimes I wished that things could be different, but it was out of my hands. And as we talked about, it was this political football. They were playing games with it, as politics will often do. But from me banning it in the early 90s, no, I never had a second thought.